mahi tahi media. Kia ora, Te Arahi. How are you, bro?
Tēnā koe, brother. Ora, how are you going? All good?
Yeah, all good, thank you. That one question that I haven't prepared you for. What is the number one skill or attribute that helped you when you first started in business to be successful?
Geez, we started off nearly 5 years ago. So, as it is with business and kind of anything that you put a lot of energy in, you know, there's ups, downs, and, there's sideways and all that type of stuff. But reflecting back on that initial one, probably a couple, but if I boil it down to now reflecting back on 5 years, nearly 5 years, I think for me, bro, it's understanding who you are and, the good or what you can put into the world.
Yeah.
In regards, and it doesn't matter what kind of industry and stuff like that. So for us within the creative space, TV, now it's advertising and things like that, there's always going to be somebody smarter than you, richer than you, more experienced than you, more educated than you and stuff like that. But that's all good. And it's just being comfortable with, this is who I am, this is where I come from, this is what I can do. And, if I've got enough effort and surround myself with the right people, this is what I believe that is what I can, or my team, what we can put into the world. So that's kind of been a bit of a driver for us, bro. And it's been good. There's, a whole lot of kind of other lessons around that. And things, supported by, learn, adjusting the eyes up, especially in this COVID environment where things have changed. Like,
haven't they just?
Every year or every, 3 months, there's something different. There's new tech or there's a new kind of something happening that affects the day-to-day operation. So you got to adjust. But I think that's it, bro. Like, looking back at it is that, I finished high school. I never went to uni. I had my oldest son was still at high school, 17.
Yeah.
From a small town, Huntley. Couldn't speak English until I was about 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
So there's all those bits and pieces and stuff like that. Whereas, that's who I am. But on the other side, I had a loving family. I grew up in a really strong community. I grew up in my marae. I grew up in my world perspective was shaped by my elders and my pakeke. So there's all those attributes that made me the person that I am today. And that's what, in my line of work, what I believe in is that, albeit I didn't have all those other things, I've got these things. And that's what I can, work at to put into my mahi and to put into the world.
Yeah, so that's a probably big thing, and I think we're talking about it before. It's really just understanding your own value and then just sort of sticking with that, eh?
Yeah, because that's what it is. You can't pretend to be anybody else.
Yeah.
You can't manufacture what you don't have. So one of the best lessons I always got my first day of TV, because I never done a day. I come from an accounts background.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so that's my background. Is straight out of school. I worked for Tainui on a cadetship and accounts and
oh, wow,
for social services. So numbers, I love numbers. That's what I like. And then just by some kind of freak, a chance, I got into media back in 2004 and TV's first year. It always resonates with me. Tanga Nathan was the guy who gave me my job. Is that we came in. Story went really bit tricky and stuff like that, so we didn't get everything that we were after for the story. Then I started explaining that in the first instance. Oh, we didn't get this. He goes, "Cuz, don't ever start with telling me what you don't have. Tell me what you do have." And build off that. So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I've kind of applied that to, cool. There's heaps of like me as a person and all those bits and pieces within the type of work is that you can focus, you can dwell on all the stuff that you don't have, all you want, but it doesn't matter. Just focus on the stuff that you do have, maximize that, make the most of that, because that's who you are, that's what your kaupapa is, that's what your business is about, and that's where you can make mark on your industry, on your community, or whatever it is that your goals that you're trying to achieve.
And that's really great to hear as well, because I think with social media and all the stuff we see and hear, it's all around comparison. It's all around, I want to be doing what they're doing and all that, but even with myself being in corporate, for the first few years I thought I had to be a certain way, but the more of being authentically me and just roll the way that I want to roll, and really under like sticking with my strengths and getting smarter people around me to do all the other stuff, that's where I'm more comfortable, and that's where things are getting so much easier. But it's really hard to I guess when there's just so much of that FOMO, that comparison in the media and all that, and I really love hearing that, Te Arahi, because I think it's something we need to hear more of, is just be comfortable in your own shoes and know that you can be successful and bring in your strengths and bring in your value out, eh?
Yeah, but look, it's an interesting one. We were just talking about before. I've become a little bit of a social media reclusive, but that's just me. Like I'm 41 now. I've got 2 grandkids, and so I've got a whole bunch of other things going on. But I see that, and look, it's all good if people get energy and thrive, and it's good for them to be out there telling them what that's cool. That's me, awesome. But within looking at that type of stuff, for me and what's working is it's just we're going about doing what we do. We're connecting with the people that we need to connect with, and going back to your point too, bro, around about just being us, like within our space. So advertising is the biggest thing that we're into at the moment. We've got three pillars of our business, and that's the number one. But we are Māori who learned advertising. We are not advertisers who are trying to figure out how to be Māori, and that's our point of difference, or how to promote Māori, or how to create Māori messaging. So we do things very, very differently to what the traditional is, and that's cool. That works for us. It's who we are. It's what we understand, and for the people that we're engaging with and working alongside, that's good for them too, because it just opens up a different perspective to what it is that they're trying to achieve, or the support that they're trying to get.
Well, it's a different perspective, but it's also getting away from the traditional approach that everybody's taking, because as I was saying earlier, we're in a world that is evolving and changing so much, and the more you can bring an authentic lens to it and get away from what everybody else is doing, then you will tend to attract a lot more opportunities, because, especially from your point of view, the media just becomes a lot more authentic.
Yeah, and it's funny, like my wife is my business partner, and she's our head of creative here at Maipi. So she's very, very hooked in with all her pakeke, and ʻRereata Mākeha, who's one of her uncles, is a big influence on her. And so it's funny, like a lot of the type of stuff and the approaches and things like that, and just the things that she's growing up in. Is a lot of these kind of foundations, the principles and perspectives from an Indigenous or Te Māori, these are 1,000 years old. So what we're trying to do now is make sure that the things that we do will endure for another 1,000 years after us. So it's funny, like all these, kind of, new ways of doing things. They're not new. They're just they're the old ways. They're the OG ways of how we would do things and how we would approach things. So it's just trying to kind of bring that back out into a space, and people, it's awesome. It's a really amazing way of people kind of getting understanding and perspective on stuff. Te
Arahi, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Really enjoyed our kōrero.
Awesome, brother. Lovely to see you.
Cool. Cheers, bye.
Thank you, man.